Welcome to Finance Deep Dive. So today we're talking about a kind of financial pressure that, well, it rarely makes headlines, right? There's no big crash, no sudden emergency. It's just these slow, quiet changes that kind of eat away at what your money can actually do. Let's dive in.
Most of us think we'd notice, right? If we were losing money, we'd see it.
Of course we would. We check our bank accounts, we see the numbers. A loss should be totally obvious. A number literally going down.
But here's the thing. Some of the most powerful losses, they just don't work like that. They don't show up with a big flashing sign. In fact, they don't really feel like losses at all. They feel like something else.
Yeah, they feel normal. And that right there is the trap. This quiet erosion happens right under our noses because it just blends into our everyday lives.
So how in the world does that even happen, right? How can you be losing financial ground when the numbers in your bank account look just fine? Let's get into the invisible mechanism behind all this. Okay, so it all boils down to this one core concept, purchasing power. It's not about how many dollars you have. It's about what those dollars can actually get you. And when that changes, the real value of your money is changing, even if the number on your bank statement looks exactly the same.
So how does it happen? Well, it's actually kind of simple when you break it down. It's when prices for, everyday stuff, groceries, gas, rise faster than we expect them to. Or it's those costs that just gradually creep up. A subscription here, a little fee there. And the real key is that these small increases just keep repeating over and over again. And see, any one of those little increases, it feels totally manageable. You can just shrug it off. But when you add them all up, collectively, their power is huge. It's what quietly shrinks your financial world.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? If this is so powerful, why is it so hard for us to notice? Well, it's because nothing dramatic ever actually happens. Think about it. On the surface, your financial life just keeps rolling along. Your paycheck arrives, you pay your bills, life feels normal. But in the background, something is shifting. Your buying power is eroding. And that comfortable feeling you once had, it suddenly starts requiring more effort, more careful planning just to stay in the same place. So if you can't see it in your bank balance, where does this pressure actually start to show up? Well, the very first warning signs almost always hit one place first: your financial flexibility. It's kind of like a belt getting slowly tightened, one notch at a time. First, you just have a little less room to save. Then that means less room to invest. Pretty soon, there's way less room for surprises. That unexpected car repair is suddenly a huge deal. And eventually, those little mistakes that we all make, they become so much harder to fix. Your buffer is just gone.
And this is where things get even trickier, because it's not just about the numbers. There's a huge psychological trap here. The problem isn't just external, it's also about how we mentally deal with this slow, creeping change.
You see, because the whole process is so gradual, we just adapt. We start to normalize higher prices. We just accept it. We start accepting reduced options. We'll just eat out less, or let's push that vacation back. And we keep postponing any real adjustments because nothing ever feels like a true emergency.
But here's the thing you absolutely have to remember. Adaptation doesn't stop the erosion. Getting used to the pressure doesn't make the pressure go away.
And this is exactly why this whole thing matters so much, especially right now. Because this slow pressure, it compounds. What feels like just a small pinch today can completely reshape your choices later on.
I'm talking about the biggest decisions of your life. Things like your housing decisions, what you can afford, where you can live.
Or your career moves. Suddenly, the risk of leaving a job you don't even like feels way too high. Your options just start to narrow.
And of course, your retirement timing. See, these huge life-altering changes, they don't happen because of some big panic. They happen because your financial capacity, your real freedom to choose, has been quietly shrinking for years.
Okay, so what do you do about this? What's your real advantage against this kind of quiet pressure? Well, it might not be what you think. Listen, the goal here is not to try and predict some disaster. That's a fool's game. The real goal is much simpler. It's just about noticing the drift early. It's about seeing those small shifts before they turn into big problems. Because that's what it all comes down to. Awareness restores control. And control creates options. It gives you back your power. Look, loss doesn't always announce itself.
Sometimes it only becomes obvious after your flexibility is already gone. If this video helped you see things a little bit earlier, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really tells YouTube that this is a conversation worth having. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Where do you feel costs rising the most right now? And of course, subscribe to Finance Deep Dive if you want to stay ahead of these quiet financial shifts.